Today I will tell you two horror stories. The first story is called Headphones. Aki was an introverted girl, and she didn't like crowded places either. So when getting out, she always brought headphones, and adjusted the volume to the highest level. She just wanted to be immersed in her own world. The people around her were always looking at her with strange eyes, but Aki didn't care, and ignored what people said about her. She soon got used to such things, so for a long time, she only considered her surroundings as if no one was there. That day, after work, Aki went to the subway station, but it hadn't arrived yet. Therefore, she had to wait in the waiting seat. After sitting down, out of habit, Aki put on headphones. She adjusted the volume to the highest level, and began to immerse herself in the music rhythm. No one could bother her. After that, the subway also came. Seeing that, the man beside Aki stood up, but Aki didn't know that the subway had arrived. But at this moment, everyone around suddenly screamed in panic, like they saw something very horrible. Everyone quickly ran to the emergency exit, but Aki was wearing headphones. She didn't know what was happening. There was a man behind her that was covered in blood. He tried to call Aki, but Aki was still looking at her phone, and didn't hear anything, and she was completely unresponsive to external influences. Finally, Aki was alone here, then she turned off her phone. When taking off her headphones, she suddenly found that there was no one in the subway station anymore. This made Aki extremely bewildered, and she didn't know what was happening either. Where did everyone go? Suddenly, there was a strong wind blowing. Aki turned around and saw a man with blood on his face standing behind her. He was also holding an iron rod. After that, Aki's headphones were covered in blood and fell to the ground. Since then, no one would be able to bother Aki anymore. The second story is called Camouflage. Kami was cooking in the kitchen. There was news about a murder on TV. The culprit hid in the victim's house, and then killed them. The method was extremely cruel, but currently the police haven't caught the culprit. Therefore, everyone, especially single women, must be vigilant. At this moment, Kami's phone rang. Her best friend called her. Kami's best friend reminded her that she had to pay attention because the killer was near Kami's apartment. After hearing this, Kami laughed and said, "Don't joke like that, this will scare me to death." Because she was busy cooking, she quickly hung up the phone. Then, on TV, there was another news reporting about the murderer's portrait. It was a man with glasses and a cap. He was about 160 centimeters tall. The police were continuing to investigate. Suddenly, Kami's doorbell rang. There was a man who said he was an alarm system tester. However, Kami didn't receive a notification about this. The man seemed a little angry and said, "Do the apartment manager not notify you?" That was so irresponsible. Because, lately, security hadn't been guaranteed. Kami had to be extremely vigilant. The man took out his work card to prove it to Kami. Seeing the signature confirmation of the apartment management board, Kami then felt relieved and less worried, then allowed him into the house. This man looked around and had strange actions. He even asked Kami, "Do you live alone?" Hearing that, Kami began to feel anxious. She didn't answer him. This man could only talk to himself. Although he was checking the alarm system, he also talked continuously. He also mentioned the recent murder case. Suddenly, Kami remembered the news describing the murderer's portrait. Her whole body began to tremble. To hide her sense of fear, she tried to be as calm as possible. But when she turned around, the man was standing behind her. "Can I go to the toilet?" he asked. "Toilet?" Kami asked tremblingly. "That's right," he said. "You can. It's embarrassing to have to use the women's toilet. I'm really sorry." After the man went to the toilet, Kami quickly ran into the bedroom and take a stun gun in the drawers. After this man came out of the toilet, he suddenly said he wanted to check the bathroom. Kami followed him, but unexpectedly she was seen by him. He then ran over to attack Kami. Fortunately, she had prepared in advance. Kami used stun gun to shock him, which made him into a coma. After that, there was news about the new case on TV. According to witness statements, the killer is actually a woman aged from 25 to 30 years old, with the following identifying characteristics. She is about 160 centimeters tall, with long black hair. When killing, she was wearing a black baseball cap and black glasses, wearing a black jacket and jeans. The camera moved to the bathroom. It had a lot of blood stains. On the ground there was also a black glasses and a black baseball cap. They were all hers. When watching this scene, do you realize that you were just cheated? Therefore, there are also many things in life that we shouldn't just look at by appearances. It's better to be careful.